What's the date today? So, it's Friday the 15th of March and it's exactly 11 p.m. Friday the 15th of March, which is late because you're not accustomed to me doing a Friday night video this late. But I went to the movies, but it's been a tough week for live videos with everything that went on. We did a video, it was pulled down. We did another video. On the night that Facebook freaked out, we did a video that night, and I think that's still running live somewhere. So that's a lost cause too, until at some point, maybe after this video, Facebook might realize that one shouldn't be running live this long. I don't expect a large audience tonight at this hour. Be surprised, it's Friday night, but we're here, and there are some things I just wanted to talk to you about. That needed addressing, and I call this video an absurd nation. I really want to call it an absurd little nation. It's an absolute fact. People message me and ask me, why did I take Fuad Khan to task so hard over his comments? And to people who just looking on as onlookers, who don't understand how a country's supposed to work, you would think that that was just harsh. And I mean, there are some people who compare Krokro and Fuad Khan as the same nonsense, and in a lot of ways they are, but in a lot of ways they're not, and I'll tell you why they're not. And this is something that you have to hammer home. You can't miss this. You can't miss this point. Fuad Khan has been a government minister. And I'm not making this video about him. That's probably the last time I'm mentioning his name. But to deal with the Candace Santana issue, Trinidad is a dangerous country. Very, very dangerous country. It is badly run. It is mismanaged, and it is barely holding itself together. Life in Trinidad and Tobago, we compare Trinidad to Venezuela, but the comparison is not a real comparison, you know. You see, Trinidad is a nation that has been looted by its governments, especially on the heels of the NAR experience. Manning Pandey, Kamala, and now Rowley have led a looting of the country. That's what's happening. They're looting the country. And that's why you can't give them a blight. You can't let them pass. Because if you don't say that it's wrong, the first time, I tell women this all the time, you know, the first time a man hits you in a relationship, if you don't let him know that that is the last time, he will consider hitting you as par for the course. There is this thing called the love language, and I want to paraphrase the love language, because and what the love language says is we teach people how to love us. I told a friend of mine once, and she called me and she said her man got drunk. I told you all this story already. And he hit her across her face. Open hand slap. And I told her, you were supposed to pick up something heavy like a frying pan and lick him down. Take the fight or leave. But you can't excuse the action at all because it's wrong. You can't excuse the action. Worse, if you break up with that man, you go with the next man and he beat you, but he ain't beat you as bad as first man, and you're making excuses. Stop that. And to paraphrase that, we teach people how to govern us. We teach people how to govern us. Things that governments do in Trinidad and Tobago, they would never try in another country. Do you know that it is actually illegal in Trinidad and Tobago for companies doing business with the state to give money to political parties? If you find Junior Sammy or Michael Aboud or any of their companies actually giving money to the PNM and the UNC, those are jailable offenses for the politicians and the business owners. But we don't enforce the law in Trinidad and Tobago. We allow businessmen to buy politicians. They buy them, they own and operate them. They have control of them. When you put $5 million in a man's hand, he said, you don't account for that. If your only choice is, and this is why the Progressive Empowerment Party is pissing the business community off, because they're accustomed to saying, look, Colm, you hold 5 million. Look, Rudal, you hold 5 million. We don't care where the money go, because it's a $10 million investment, and regardless of which one of you all win, we'll get back $20 million return on that. So they don't care. Along comes the Progressive Empowerment Party to upset that apple cart and wake you up and educate you and tell you how things are supposed to work. We'll come back to the issue of Candace Santana. You cannot open your door this hour, 11:05, jump on your bicycle and go for a ride. In Trinidad, we've seen the videos, we're scared into submission. We've seen people drive past and just open fire and kill people, kill random people, kill targets, kill innocent bystanders, and they don't care. Tonight, they've had about 8 people, I keep getting WhatsApps. Police open fire in Marabella, kill 2 men. Other people open fire on police, 3 get killed. I don't know what's the total anymore. I don't think anybody in Trinidad knows. This is such a wild place, such a wild and violent place that we just hear 2 dead, 3 dead, 5 dead. Unless you hear a mad number like 30 dead, you ain't taking it on. Dead, okay, they're dead. Then me the dead, so I cool. But you can't open your door tonight. Candace Santana can't finish work if she's working 2 jobs, because it is a very hard country to live in. The governments have made it a cesspool. The cost of living is outside of the reach of most people. People are barely getting by. By the time the average family get the kids to bed, they just have enough time to take care of what they could take care of tonight, to go to sleep, to get up tomorrow, to do the same thing again. There is nothing like a lifestyle in Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing. Some people pretend, but it's nothing like that. So you can't open your door at 11:05 and go and take a run in your neighborhood. You would literally be taking your life in your hands. You can't go and ride your bicycle. You can't ride on the road. People running down, cyclists in bright day glow outfits. I mean, you can't miss a cyclist outfit. And it's 50 of them riding. And you seeing all of that and them getting run over and killed. So if in a pack, in day glow, them getting licked up, you can't go and ride a bicycle on the side of the road. You can't go outside and walk. You can't go outside and run. Exercise in the country now has been reduced to spending money in the gym. Money that a lot of people don't have. Spending money in the gyms. And the reason that I hold people like Fuad Khan and take them to task, you were in government. Every day, look at this. Every day at 3 o'clock, 1 million square feet of state-owned space gets locked up tight. The schools. 1 million square feet. The schools, already separated into classrooms, already have electricity, already have gates and guards and security. Why we can't rent out those classrooms? Why instead of allowing Fatima College and St. Mary's College and Presentation College to have fetes for carnival to raise funds and take little school children and put them to work building those fetes and operating those fetes and teaching them wrong values? Why instead of that, we don't allow the schools to rent out their classrooms every afternoon to people who want to teach anything? There are people in this country who can't afford to rent a space to start a karate school. But if you rent them a classroom for $30 an afternoon, they can hold a karate class until they get off the ground and get a following and start their own school. Or yoga, or Tai Chi, or Zumba. They have a lot of people who, if you give them the opportunity, will start their own little fitness business in your school. You can use the hall, you can rent out the hall, make it available, the yard. I want to go into a video and show you the size of the yard space. St. Mary's College has 5 different massive yard spaces. St. Mary's College alone, not counting St. Mary's College grounds. St. Mary's College alone could have 5 different massive exercise things going on at the same time and not interrupt each other. Fatima as well, St. Joseph. When you drive past Fatima College grounds in the evening, lock up tight. St. Mary's grounds lock up tight. And Saloom and them stopping people from using King George V Park. If you're making noise, you're waking up my tanty. This kind of bullshit you're getting. Listen, The country is mismanaged by shit snakes and jackasses, and I am upset. I am angry. I'm angry with Fuad Khan because you were in government. You had the power of government. If the hospital's not working, Fuad Khan, you to blame. You the jackass before you, the jackass before him. Y'all are running commentary of failure. I don't care who thief less and who do worse. I care that you wasted your opportunity in office. You had 5 years. What I am talking about now could be done in 6 months. 6 months. Community fitness. You could imagine the government leading the charge. Community fitness. Something to do in the night. Children going to learn karate, kung fu, taekwondo. I know a fella teaching a class of doctors and lawyers learning martial arts in his yard in Diamond Vale. Give that man a proper space to use. You'll be helping multiples of people. You'll be creating opportunities for people to be fit. And I'm saying this again. You were in government, Fuad Khan, and all of you, each and every one of you. It is why I'm telling Trinidad and Tobago, there is nothing Kamla Persad-Bissessar has to tell you that you need to hear. Not one word. She had 5 years and 6 months and did nothing of value. Everything that they could point to tell you they did this, check and see if it wasn't money spending business. It disguised as something for the people, but it's money spending business. Suruj Rambachan couldn't give Calco a $200 million contract to solve the traffic coming out of Diego Martin, because to solve the traffic coming out of Diego Martin required 2 things. A Baba Green, a backhoe, and about 3 truck of gravel. Because to widen the road is to literally move the pavement 10 feet to the left, right down the road. And the traffic coming out of Diego Martin that takes you all so much time every morning will evaporate. But these sons of bitches, they will never, ever do a project that they can practically do for free. When I tell Trinidad and Tobago to solve the traffic coming out of Maraval, going into Maraval, don't even need a backhoe. Not one. So there's no Junior Sammy contract, there's no Kusals contract, they have no SIS contract, they have no Calco contract, so nobody getting commission, nobody getting kickback. They have no contract to solve the things properly. If you made just coming out of Maraval, and the people in Maraval know this, because when I told them this, they said, but that's an absolute fact. If Bossier Village, through Rapsy Street, through Ellerslie, through Rapsy Street, through Barbados Road to Upper Long Circular Road, if that was a small circular, 2 lanes, there would never be traffic in Maraval again. Because anytime anybody stop, you could pass. All of the traffic that backs up into Maraval starts by Rapsy Street, by the gas station, by Mr. Burger, by Scotiabank and Ellerslie Plaza. But the people who own Ellerslie Plaza, Azar and them, and the businesses in Ellerslie Plaza that take advantage of the traffic, they will lose. If people could just zip by, they think that they will lose. But I'm telling you, some no entry signs, turn right signs, some paint on the ground, and you solve the Maraval traffic for all the people living in Maraval. And if you don't believe me, let's take a trial run. In fact, I'm willing to do it on a computer simulation for you to see. Because what causes traffic are 2 things in traffic situations like this. Is people crossing traffic, that causes traffic. And people stop and go traffic is what causes traffic. And if you could create a situation where you have a free flow, and if anybody stops, there's a place for them to overtake, you solve the problem. I'm saying to you, the country doesn't have to run like a thiefdom. All the talk, Kamla talking. And Rowley's the biggest shithole we've ever had as a prime minister. And every prime minister we've had is a shithole. Manning is a ratted shithole. Kamala is a drunken shithole. Pandey is a fool, drunk, ratted shithole. Eric Williams was a criminal, racist shithole. George Chambers was a duncy shithole. And A.N.R. Robinson squandered a legacy to become the Une of Ife. Ratted shithole. They have never had a government in this country that put the needs of the people first. Not one. Not one. You know how? You know that? Because we don't have 1 million breadfruit trees. You see, if we had 1 million breadfruit trees and 1 million guava tree and 1 million avocado trees, you see the whole Diego Martin mountain behind 4 roads that burned down 20 years ago? You see that? You could drop fruit and vegetable seeds from the sky, from the national security helicopters, and seed that mountain. Chagaramas, Queen's Park, Savannah, every green space in this country should have fruit and food-bearing trees, not frangipani and bougainvillea. Things that people could eat. We must make it impossible to starve in this country. Not easy to do. That's absolutely easy to do. But they don't want that because AMCO, HADCO, Massey and ADM will go out of business. And government in Trinidad and Tobago is a front for business. Because if you run a Ministry of Food Production properly, HADCO going out of business. They only have about 5,000 rich people who want the bullshit they're selling in peppercorns. The rest of Trinidad and Tobago want to be able to afford to eat well and take care of their family. I'll tell you something. Everything that we need to eat in this country, we could grow here. Everything. When they lied to you and told you that small-scale farming is not affordable, they lied and we had to expose that. They don't talk that shit no more. They don't talk that no more. Because the people are awake, the people are hearing and they're learning. And I know you want to watch me and say all kind of things about me, and I don't care. I want you to hear the words. I want you to take those words and go back to your leaders and say, listen now, if you care about us, why didn't you reduce the price of food to 15% of what it is now? You see, Massey Stores frayed. Massey Stores frayed, a progressive empowerment party that wants to build 41 real markets, not shit markets like Central Market. Central Market is a shithole. If you, our model, the German market, Barcelona market, go and look at real countries, how they treat their people. When you go in a real nation's real market, you want to go there every day and just stroll through the stalls and buy your fruits and your vegetables and your meat. And you can go and you can buy your fish. When you go in the Mediterranean, I was watching this fella, Bizarre Foods, Andrew Zimmerman. He would go when the boats come in and buy this kind of fish and that kind of fish. And every time the fish beaten up there, and you go into the market and there are stalls in there. You could buy stuff and pay the people to cook your fish for you, right there. You could imagine this country with 41 proper markets. Imagine your constituency. I don't call no constituency name. Imagine your constituency market, massive, twice the size of Westmall. Market for people to sell every manner of thing in a hygienic, well-operated system. Imagine that. Imagine you could go and shop with a basket in a market and just buy all of the good food that you need for your family, not processed bullshit, not sealed in plastic inside Massey. And I showed them when they came with their plastic bags nonsense. I went in the store and showed them it's a ruse, it's a lie. I wanted to save $17 million in plastic bag, and they want to charge people 50 cents, and they never ever was able to live that down. It was a fact. But imagine a real market in your constituency. 100,000 square feet. Imagine proper vendors that making a living so them can't play the fool. They had to come good with you because you have choice. You have choice. And if it is one thing that drives service and price, is choice. Give the people choice. We have on the fruits and vegetables list about 500 things that grow in Trinidad and Tobago normal. Normal. And when I was small, I too get brainwashed and I wanted to be blonde haired and blue-eyed white people eating apples and grapes all the time and feeling that made me somebody. But I actually prefer Julie Mango and Pomerak and guava. I don't hear people talk enough about guava, and maybe that is why our public health is so high, because a guava have 5 times the vitamin C of an orange. 5 times. And avocado is the only natural vegetable fat that is good for you, that lowers cholesterol. A breadfruit is the only starch that is a low glycemic starch. I talked to a guy in the fitness industry and he tell me all food is sugar. And you know, I want to argue it, but sometimes just tell yourself, it don't make sense. When people choose to be deliberately stupid, you gotta leave them there. Yes, everything is sugar. It's glycogen. That's what your body wants. Glycogen to store in your liver, to access that and turn that into energy. Yes. But the speed at which the food that you consume is transformed into sugar in your blood either spikes it or stabilizes it. And that's called the glycemic index. And white flour, rice, Irish potato spikes your blood sugar. Sweet potato, Edo's, Dashin, breadfruit stabilizes your blood sugar. And that's what you want. That's what you want. You don't want the roller coaster high and then the collapse. And I need to drink 17 cups of coffee a day because I'm fashionable and I'm shopping in Starbucks. 90% of what we shop for, we do not need. We are literally shopping to perform. Shopping has become performance art. They call it retail therapy. And it's bullshitting you. It's telling you that slave to buy, to store, to have. All of the cultures that go on to become something of substance, people who have the happiest lives, live minimal lives. And this saying that I learned changed my whole life. And if you ever come into my house, you'll understand. A home is a place for free expression, not good impressions. When I go in somebody's house and I see everything well put away and shiny, I know they're not living in that house. And I know that. I make a joke. Growing up in O'Connor Street, we had a white shag rug in our living room. And we had this plastic runner, make a L, 2 of them, through the living room to the stairs to go upstairs. And I thought, as a child, I thought this is such a travesty that to get to my bedroom, I had to walk across this plastic thing that if I make a mistake, I'm in trouble. And I used to think that that didn't make sense at all. When I became a man, I realized that my parents didn't know better. That laying out a house to invite guests and show them around. Everybody had. We had this cupboard in the living room with stuff that I looked at my entire life we never touched. We had crystal and china in a locked cupboard that was there on display that we never used. Never. I've never seen it, held it, touched it in real life. I don't know where it is now. We understand what I'm trying to tell you? All of that, waste of money, waste of life, waste of time. Somebody said on a show that I was watching, as you get older, you realize that the only thing that matters is happiness. The only thing that matters is happiness, peace in your soul. I want to come back to the fact that we've never been properly governed. If you are the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and you know that most violent crimes are committed with guns, most violent crimes are committed with guns, and that there are 30,000 illegal guns in the country, and that we've known for at least 40 years that the guns were coming in because our borders were porous, and they were coming in alongside the illegal drug, narcotics, and US contraband trades, and you did nothing to secure the nation's borders, you have failed, you're incompetent, and quite possibly a criminal co-conspirator in that trade. Because to this day, I cannot understand why not one Prime Minister has secured this nation's borders. Now, people will tell you shit like you can't secure a country. I want to tell you, the reason Cuba has the best medicine in the world, public health in the world, Cubans are some of the most talented engineers in the world. And if you go to Cuba, you will see cars 50 and 60 years old because the United States shut Cuba down. Nothing in, nothing out. And all they had to live with was what they already had. So they had to learn to deal with that. And it made them the best in the world at a lot of things. Heart surgery, eye surgery, go Cuba. If you can't get a part for your vintage car, Cuba will make it for you. Because that's what they had no choice but to do. So don't tell me that we can shut this nation's borders down. We could shut it down so tight that if you try to smuggle a piece of charcoal in your ass, by the time you reach inside Trinidad and Tobago, it's a diamond. We could shut it down. Shut it down completely. And the fact that Basdeo Panday never shut it down shows that he is an incompetent jackass, does not care about the people, and is quite possibly criminally corrupt, as is Kamala Persad-Bissessar, Patrick Manning, and Keith Rowley. Because Faris Al-Rawi, that stunting jackass, slipped when the PEP was putting them under pressure and said that the Minister of National Security, Dillon, and the Prime Minister always knew that securing the borders was the way to stop the flow of guns and drugs into this country. So why didn't you? Fuad Khan, you sat in that cabinet, and I know because you fought us on issues. You all had no interest in making this a better country. You all had interest in making all your pocket fat so you could walk around and pretend always somebody. Every single public official we've ever had in the parliament, every government ministers were shithounds. Look around this country. Look around. You can't point to one thing, not one thing, and say, look, it works. Look, not one? Not one thing? That should upset you. Because it's not like we're a poor country. They bandy words around like we're the third wealthiest nation in the Western world. Just by dint of what was flowing out of the ground, oil, gas, and pitch. Imagine if we had actually monetized this nation. Imagine if we actually worked for money. Imagine if we had gotten into all the things that naturally wanted to flow our way. Tourism, shipping, marine, agriculture. I mean, we became the best in the world at so many things accidentally. Best cocoa, freak that. Best honey, it's ass with that. Second hottest pepper, I don't care about pepper. What are we doing? We keep electing shithounds to government who front criminally corrupt businessmen. Let me tell you something now. Sabga would be a footnote in history if Sabga had competition. Carib and Stag are locally brewed versions of horse piss. Now, I don't care who vets, because that's all you know. So they teach you to like horse piss. But the first sip of either of those two beers in your life, you ask yourself in your mind, what the hell was the fuss about? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing proprietary. Nothing of substance. Sabga, who they tout, all Sabga did was buy McAnally Allstons. Because without McAnally Allstons, Sabga running standard furniture store. That's all he do. He bought McAnally Allstons, and then the government shut the nation down against competition. Because if real bears, Labatt's Blue, imagine if real bears had come and set up factories in Trinidad and Tobago alongside Carib and Stag to sell for the same price. People would be holding little Carib and Stag coasters and bottles. Hey, remember this? They used to make this shit in Trinidad. Remember that? And that's a fact. That's an absolute fact. So all the pretend that the Sabga family want to pretend that they're successful. They're not successful. They couldn't duplicate it in a real country. Here, in this absurd little nation, where you could get the government to do whatever you want the government to do, here, you could get away and pretend that that is success. You fight a man with his 2 hands tied behind his back and his 2 foot laced together, and you knock him out and you pretend you win. You ain't win. You cheat. This is not a real country. This is not a real economy. In a real economy, a government would have had 10 competing banks coming here already to either drive Scotia, Republic, and Royal to perform better or drive them out of business. This country makes $4 and $5 billion for banks per quarter. You telling me they don't have banks scratching at the door to come in here and eat some of that? But we taking a little kickback. We taking a little payoff. We calling it financing for parties. If you had proper campaign finance legislation in this country that capped every constituency election to $100,000, the entire election will cost you $4.1 million. If you take as deposits, as donations, $1 more than $4.1 million, you could be charged under a proper campaign finance regulation. But we don't have that. So you could spend $300 million. Anthony Knox, the next time you ask me about Jack Warner, I'll block you. This is not a place for you to grind your soul. Alright? Talk that on your wall. Because we're dealing with real issues here now. And let's talk about that. Good evening, Michael Patrick Aboud. Let us talk about the fact that the country has been mismanaged by every single government. And the only issue I want to raise about Jack Warner is that son of a bitch was brilliant. He knew how to fool poor people and give them populist nonsense. This is the country, this Trinidad and Tobago is the country that legitimized illegal taxis, P-taxis, that robbing, raping, and kidnapping people, and throw Uber out of the country that was regulated and organized. This country is the country that do that. Trinidad and Tobago. When you look at that, in this country, crime pays. And every wealthy businessman in this country got their wealth illegally, immorally, or unethically, or a combination of all three. Nobody could stand up and tell you, I could stand scrutiny. Not one. Not one. We've had businessmen in this country burn their business down at the start of the 1980s recession to collect insurance money. That's a fact. Build their whole empire on that. We have people in this country whose business don't take in the kind of money that their life have showing for it. We have demonstrated how to launder money. We've built fast food empires on laundering drug money in this country. And governments come and governments gone. When you listen to all these shittongs who come to talk to you on social media, and listen to them, they're talking a good talk. And after you talk, what? If you can't offer the people a solution or an alternative, what's the point of the talk? What's the point of the talk? What's the point? What's the point of the talk? If we can't get together as people and say, okay, listen, here what? I don't give a shit what the government look like. They could be green as long as they're running the country properly. What does running the country properly mean? What does that mean? That means law enforcement functions properly. That the justice system does not need more than 3 years for a civil case or 5 years for a criminal case. And that if judges can't do that, you could fire the judges. That in the country, that if government ministers and members of parliament do not account for their source of funds every quarter, they could be fired and dragged before the courts to account for what they have. Somebody wrote me today to tell me Stuart Young is getting 20 acres of land in Chaguaramas for himself. I don't know if that is true, but they send land survey people to survey a piece of land in Welcome Bay in Chaguaramas, and they say it's for Stuart Young. So I need to know. And I need to know how that was done, and if it was done properly, and what would properly look like if a government minister is giving himself, through his connections in the government, access to property. The chairman of the estate management company gave himself 100 acres. The chairman. This is a mad country. This is a mad country. And it is mad because we don't stand up for a better nation. We Trinidadians, we live like fools, like rats and cockroaches. We allow people who steal money from us to take that money and buy big house and big car and lord it over us, and we there like, hey, I wish I could be like he. This is a mad nation, and it's not going to get better until you wake up and you realize that you cannot have an education system that says study hard and do an SCA exam to get into a good school, because for some reason we could make a couple schools good and the rest of the schools have to be shit. But all right, let's say we accept that. Study hard to get into a good school, not one of the shit schools, and you study hard and you get the numbers, but you're not named enough, or your name didn't get pulled in the 20%, or your family didn't go and pull a string in the school of your choice to get you in. A lot of the children that pass and their mother and their father boasting on Facebook, we make Fatima, we make St. Joseph. It's a lie, more theft again. The concordat and the way we operate our school system in Trinidad is corruption. Corruption, the first 20% of children that get picked didn't do an SCA exam. That was a fix. That's a shortcut. How could you operate a country where 20% of the students could get sucked into prestige schools, the rest of the schools operate like shit, and the nation not riot? How? How is it possible that you could spend $5 billion a year on public education, and some of your schools be prestige schools, and some of your schools be shit, and the people not riot? How could you have $5 billion spent on public health and people go to public health and you treat them like dogs and vermin and they're not riot? How come? What is wrong with us that we don't realize that the government's job is to serve us? What is wrong, I ask? Kobo pee on this whole nation. Because if we were what we pretend to be when we shit talking with one another, you know who I is, that's how we behave. All of us walk through with a swagger that we don't deserve. We don't deserve the swagger because when it really matters, tail between my legs and hushing my mouth. Tail between my legs. Trinidadians prefer right now, watching this video, I can tell you, there are people who quietly selling their shit to fly out. Not to try and fix the country, to get them family out. Because to a lot of people, Trinidad is about to fail, and it will, I tell you. The PNM, what this PNM has done, you have to elect a government to power with such clean hands, and the Progressive Empowerment Party is the only political party that has an actual blueprint to rescue this country. We debate it with you every single day. We present it for public scrutiny. We've given you a sneak peek into our manifesto 4 years before election. No other political party dare do that, because you will question them, and we have people kicking our tires and test driving ours since we started in 2017. Asking questions, press the point. You need a government that has the clean hands, but more importantly, that has the balls, belly, and backbone to undo all the bullshit of Keith Rowley, all of the bullshit of Kamla Persad-Bissessar, to undo and open up and investigate and prosecute all of those sons of bitches. You need a government that is capable of that. You need to see the same way you see names splash up on Facebook. This black face and that Indian face. This one robber, that one thief. Show me Goodwood Park, Fairways and Sinclair too. I want to see Valsane and Gulf View on Facebook too. I want to see Chamber of Commerce people who have criminally conspired to loot this country. I want to see them exposed. And you're not getting that from the PNM and the UNC, because both the PNM and the UNC are criminal organizations, criminal fronts for criminals that have been plundering and looting Trinidad and Tobago. This is not a real country. Trinidad and Tobago is a hostage situation. The people in Trinidad and Tobago are here and being run and held against their will. This is not a real country. If you want to argue with me and tell me I am wrong, tell me what works. Tell me what works. The DDI people don't like me, because they know I will get into government and I will research how people who I just see them writing on Facebook, closet racists, closet racists, about party boats in the area in DDI, and I will research how you come to own that property down the islands. I want to know that too. I want to know all of that. I want to ask all those questions, and I want you all to hear me. You see, I know I frighten certain people in Bayshore. I frighten certain people in Bayshore because they know that Philip Alexander in the parliament, this is a different country. That those who get to where they are by criminal activity will have questions to answer in a suddenly real country. A suddenly real country, a real country where a fraud squad would be answerable to a commissioner of police that is dedicated to bringing justice, not just at the lowest level, and a government that has one purpose, and that is to take care of all of the people. And one of the ingredients in that is to go and get all of their money, all of their treasure that was stolen. Every illegal contract, every single one, will be overturned, exposed, investigated, and prosecuted. You have to do that. There is no other way to fix this seeping wound other than to rip the bandage off and to get all the pus out, open it up to the bright light of day and fresh breeze. We need some peroxide and some gentian violet. Remember that purple thing your mother used to put all over here when you get cut on your small purple. We need that. We need a healing. This country needs a healing. It needs to open itself up and have a frank conversation about how we got to be here. And that didn't happen by accident. Fuad Khan sat for years in a cabinet that did nothing to help people find a better life against obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. But that stunting son of a bitch want to shame and embarrass people who have no choices. Miss me with that bullshit. Your track record, friend, not me, your track record makes a liar of you. A liar of you, and not just you. Not just you. Tim Gopi Singh can't talk about Anthony Garcia and the shit of a mess Anthony Garcia making, because Tim Gopi Singh make a shit of a mess and left it for Garcia. It is a relay of mismanagement and incompetence. And again, if you like that for you, choose it, no problem. But understand, you're choosing to make your own life hard. You're cutting off your own nose to spite your face. You're making a decision based on everything but actual common sense. I don't need people blowing smoke up my ass and cheering me on. If I did, my conversations would be different. I'd be trying to fool you and please you and flirt with you. My conversations is to jar you, to shock you, to wake you up to the reality of this mad and absurd land. And you have a responsibility to know. That's your job. That's your job. You have a responsibility to know. Bonhoeffer said, God will not, history will not treat us like, not to in silence in the face of this much atrocity is itself evil. Silence in the face of evil is itself evil. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. I have looked and I have seen people make some scandalous political decisions out of ego and stupidity, out of knee-jerk reaction. I am telling Trinidad again, The mission is not to like me. The mission is to fix Trinidad and Tobago. I am the most reluctant person for this job, but I will stand toe to toe with any of those stunting jackasses who have ever held government. Anybody from Ministry of Agriculture, Food Production, Education, Home Ownership, Finance, Attorney General, every single one go to the top Prime Minister. We've never had a Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago that cared about the people, especially the PNM. Because the PNM have had economic and financial and social control of this country for 42 years. And the people most worse off in this country are PNM supporters. Mova, Beetham, Laventille and Sealots are an indictment against the PNM. Keith Rowley is your Prime Minister. He's been the Member of Parliament for Diego Martin West for 32 years. Go and see the condition of Bagatelle, Mason, Covine, Rich Plain, La Puerta, Saganga, Abipujad, Big Yard, Scorpion, Upper Hague Street tonight was a massacre. Go and see. Go and see for yourself. Go and see. If you make decisions on politics based on anything else but track record, plans, policies, programs, commitment, look at the life of the people that you're going to vote for. Contrast and compare. It's easy to talk, you know. It's easy to come on my live video and talk. I will do this and I will do that. What are you basing it on? I know I could step up. I know I could stand up. I know what I have done. I know what I have accomplished. I know what I have stood against. It is time the people of Trinidad and Tobago stop trying to be silos and superstars. Line up, come and join the Progressive Empowerment Party. There is no other. There is none other. Today we have to share. Like society is shaped not by your opinion, but by your actions. Come and do something. Come and get involved. This Saturday again, we're not really having a public meeting, but we have a lot of work to do because we're opening our own studio. We're building our own studio. And we're doing that on Corn Girls money. We're doing that on Chirrup, where we get it, we take it. We always need money. You watching this video now and people saying, Phil, oh God, when you see me, hugs, kiss, selfie. All right, but listen. What you're excited about, I told Felicia Holder today, the seed in the ground. The Progressive Empowerment Party has planted a seed in the ground that has two potentials: to grow into a phenomenal, massive, safe zone for the entire country, or to wither and die. And it's up to you. You know what you are? You are the water for that seed. We need your vote. We need your help. But most importantly, right now, we need your money. We need financial support. $1, $5, $10, every little bit helps. We pay this $18,000. We are going to have a rally on the 23rd of March in Barataria, 10th Avenue. That rally is going to cost us between $50,000 and $60,000 by the time it's done. And then to broadcast what we film is $18,765 for half hour by CNC3. $5,000 to edit. That's our information. It's available for you to see. It's available for you to see. Doing this, what we do, this costs money. And it costs sacrifice. It costs life and time. We need your help. We need you to help water the seed of a promise of a better Trinidad and Tobago. And I say this again, even my haters know that the plans, programs, and policies of the Progressive Empowerment Party will revolutionize this country, will lift all boats like a rising tide, will undo and redo the madness of the PNM and the UNC. You want a better country, you have to help build it. You can't sit down and eat popcorn and talk shit on social media. You have to get involved. We have to do this. This is not my calling. This is what I am trying to do. Others are trying to do this. We're trying to rescue our country. Because we all can't just drop and run and leave. It's our country. If it wasn't for overseas people, Progressive Empowerment Party members, Trinbagonians, who have successfully escaped this shithole, who have left this cesspool, who still look back with love in their eyes for this country, they're hoping for the best. 90% of our financing comes because of the hard work of a lot of these overseas people. God bless them. God bless them. And it is time for Trinidad and Tobago to stand up. It's really easy to fight and talk shit, 2021. And you know what? It's the last thing I'm going to say. I have a lot of people who pick up the phone and call me, Mr. Philip, oh God, I need your help. You see, you know to find me when the shit collapses around you. But you don't know how to find me to help us build what you run into in case of emergency. And that's unfair. It is time to wake up and stand up. One another, all of us together, and help build a better Trinidad and Tobago. If you're afraid victimization, because there are people who join the party and get so much pressure that they can't take it. This is not easy. They all come to me and say, boy Phil, I ain't know how you do it. If I had $100 for that, every time I hear somebody say, boy Phil, I ain't know how you just do this, I could have funded the party myself. Cash for cash. We need a better Trinidad and Tobago. You need to help build that. Next week, Saturday, the 23rd of March at 5 p.m., we have a massive rally. You're invited. Come out. We have a rally for the launch of the North Hub to present 10 caretakers to tell you we are on the ground in your constituency. Come out. I held the door open for a husband and wife today walking into Scotiabank Ellerslie, and I don't know them. They hugged me, and the wife said, we will see you next week in Barataria. The word is out. The movement is growing. Come and be a part of it next week. I think the 30th of March, that PEP market put off to the 7th of April, which is a Sunday. On the 7th of April, we have a PEP market. If you're looking to make some money, come and get involved in that. If you're looking to shop, come and help us. Market day is the 7th of April, Daniel Jackson, or the 30th of March. The 30th of March, that weekend, or the 30th and the 31st of March, we're looking to do a cleanup somewhere. We're going to find a beach. If you have an area in the country where you live, that is somewhere public, a park, open space, beach, that you know filthy, and you want to clean up, we're looking for a place to come and clean up. So message us, message me and let me know. We have the youth arm leading this, but we all come in, I come in to clean your area. Let's clean up Trinidad and Tobago. Let's show the power of us getting involved to make this a better country, because I'm telling you what, every sad story you see, every sad story that you hear, there goes you, but for the grace of God, dumb luck. And when it finally dawns on you how exposed you are, it'll be too late. There'll be nobody for you to turn to. So many people all day, boy Phil, boy Phil, boy Phil. I can't help everybody. I'm not in government. You have to help get me there. Then we will raise everybody. Yeah? Want a better country? Stand up for it. Demand it. Insist. Go Balize House tomorrow. All you who think PNM is the better alternative, go Balize House tomorrow and tell them you're suffering. Stop stunting and pretending that you're not. You're lying. You have nothing to leave for your children. If you lost your job tomorrow, you can't survive 2 weeks. If the doctor tell you have a critical illness and he hand you that prescription and you're going super farm, you hold your head and ball. My son taking Nexium because he have some acid reflux. $500 a bottle. That I just spent $500. It's the hardest $500 I spent a long time. Don't wait. Don't wait for your reality to unravel to the point where you realize none of the people around you that you think that you've been impressing care, or that they have anywhere for you to turn. Don't wait for that to be your reality and then look to call me. We're building the rescue now. Come and help weave your own safety net. On the 23rd of March, mobilize yourself. Come with your friends and family. There will be an open mic. Have your say. Come and be a part of the rescue of Trinidad and Tobago. All that is required for evil people to prosper is that good people do nothing. For 56 years, Trinidad and Tobago, good people have done nothing. themselves to the top of good old Park Hill. It is time to undo that. It is time to fix Trinidad and Tobago. If you want a better country, stand with the PEP. Stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.